Hi, ladies. It's day 16 in Sexy Sobriety Party. If you're hanging out for that, awesome. And if you're new here, welcome, awesome. And I hope you're all staying hydrated and taking care of yourselves and being really nice to yourselves because for many of us, I know this is not easy. It's very difficult for many of us to not drink for 1 day, 2 days, let alone 30 days if you're going that far. So one thing I wanted to touch on that I'm seeing a lot of is what happens after dry January. What happens after this containers like this dissolve and we go back to our lives and we don't have the support or the community around us to keep us going or keep us furthering on a healing journey, healing our relationship with alcohol. And there's a lot of anxiety around that, I'm also noticing. And so I would like to address that. And here's my take on it is that all of the rules and all of the regulations and the groups and the support systems that we put in place are not going to take away anxiety, and they're not really going to solve the problem that we're trying to solve, because anxiety is present with a message for us. Anxiety, if you're experiencing anxiety, it wants to tell you something. And usually, what that is that you have unfinished business in the healing department. There are unresolved issues within you, um, that in ways that you've been traumatized or damaged or hurt or wounded that have not been properly healed, addressed, and transformed into a more positive energy that can live in your body. And so that's what anxiety does. That's the feeling of anxiety, is that there's something that you should be doing, there's something that you ought to know, but drinking calms that anxiety for a while, but it doesn't make it go away. And that's why it's pervasive and it's always there, whether you drink or not. It just comes and goes and weaves in and out, to varying degrees depending on what you're doing with your habits. That's my take on it. And my solution for it is to take the inner journey and do the healing work and solve that problem at a root level, and it goes away on its own. A personal story that I'll share with you. I have lots of embarrassing stories if you ever want to hear them. Um, I used to smoke a bunch of weed, and in high school, when I first got my license, I was very stoned, and I was driving home on the highway where I lived in the California foothills in a snowstorm. And this could be a long story, but I totaled my parents' car, and I knew that it's because I was intoxicated. I was not sober. I was high on marijuana. And because it was in a storm, I had an association with, not with weed, with the storm. So I refused to drive in storm weather, rainy weather for a long, long time, like up until today. So that's what, 25 years that I have not driven in rain. I refuse to drive in bad weather, even though I see many people doing it. I had horrible anxiety when it would rain and I would feel like I had to drive. I would make someone else do it. I'd make up reasons why. But here's why the healing journey is so beautiful, and it carries over into other areas of our lives. So, having since healed my relationship with alcohol and the root cause of that, that was, it was like, you take the root, right? The cause, and it sprouts into all these branches and different symptoms that you can experience in life. And one of my symptoms is I could not drive a vehicle in the rain. So I healed this root issue. I had anxiety about this situation, but because I'd done the work down here, I went out today and I had to drive my kids to school, like, or they were going to walk in the rain. And I was like, oh my God, I'm fine. I'm fine with this. Of course I can drive them in the rain. I'm an adult caring for my children. I feel fine. I feel safe. I feel confident. And it was just an amazing notice that I had for the work that I've done. And so doing the work pays off in so many ways. You will feel so free. You will feel it releasing in all areas of your life, in your intimate romantic relationships, your professional life, if you have kids, it's full on with them. Um, that's where it's at. So I'm here as a container for whoever wants to explore that further. Um, I work one on one with people. I'll hold your hand through that whole process and let you cry and feel it out. And it may feel intense, but it feels so real and so relieving and so amazing to be able to function in the way that you know that you want to be. Um, so, healing at that level gives you your life back to you. That's probably the best way that I can say it. So, if you have anxiety, the alcohol is not giving you anxiety. Um, the anxiety is there because it needs you to listen to it and to go inward and to pay attention to what you probably haven't paid attention to, what I hadn't paid attention to in my case for decades. But, and it's never too late to do it, and you still have life in front of you and ahead of you that you can live so beautifully and vibrantly the way that you were meant to. Um, Alcohol is not your friend, it's not your buddy. It's also not your enemy, and I like to look at it that way because changing your relationship to alcohol requires that you make peace with it. And that's my methodology, is to make peace with it so it leaves you alone. It will leave you alone mentally when you can make peace with it. But if you're constantly fighting it and struggling with it, denying it, pushing it away, think about those energies in other places of your life. They become persistent. They don't leave you alone. They become uglier and gnarlier and intensify. To make peace with it is the way to freedom. To heal the inner wound is the way to freedom. And I'm so beyond excited to be able to foster this for other people because in my own life, I didn't know what to do about it. I tried every which way around it. And I really liked drinking, but now I just don't care. And wouldn't it be nice to just not care? And you can get there. So, the affirmation of the day for you is if you want it, it's completely available to you. And of course, you can. Of course, you can. And I hope you're having a great day wherever you are in the world. I'm in Spain, so I'm going to bed. And I hope you're enjoying the healing modalities that I'm posting and utilizing them. They're there for you, they're free. And if you have suggestions about what you would like, shoot me those. And if you try something and it really struck a chord with you, post that. I'd love to hear your voices in here. And I'm grateful to be here for you. And I'll see you again tomorrow.